Tonight on NewsWatch 12 at 6, we're continuing to track the trial of Nasi Zubari, the Klamath Falls man accused of kidnapping. And we're taking a look at Joy Community in the Rogue Valley and hearing from the people spearheading the operation, looking to provide homes to forgotten and homeless seniors. Also getting an update from a former Eagle Point resident who now lives in Florida and had to evacuate during Hurricane Milton. Those stories and much more news next on NewsWatch 12 at 6.
Watching out for you. This is NewsWatch 12 at 6.
We begin this newscast with a tragic top story tonight. Overdose of a child just days old. Thanks for joining us for NewsWatch 12 at 6. I'm Haley Gravid. Tonight, 34-year-old Orscan and 33-year-old Samantha Davis face an arraignment for 7 criminal counts. Police say an infant, apparently born last month at their home, was hospitalized for fentanyl ingestion. A Medford police affidavit says 33-year-old Samantha Davis is the child's mother. A police officer says he discovered the child was malnourished and gray. He also found fentanyl residue next to the baby's pacifier. The child went by Mercy flight to Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center, then to Portland, where it tested positive for fentanyl. A nurse told police that without intervention, the infant likely would have died within a few days. Police said Davis's sister has her other 3 children because of their parents' drug usage. Also on to our top story tonight, we are continuing to track the trial for Nasi Zubari of Klamath Falls. The 30-year-old faces criminal charges that include 2 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of transportation for criminal sexual activity, 4 counts of felon possessing weapons or ammunition, and attempted escape. He's accused of kidnapping a Seattle woman and holding her captive in a homemade cinder block cell at his Klamath Falls home. And a witness in Zubari's federal trial says that he owns a gun that Zubari is accused of using for the kidnapping. Prentice Smith told NewsWatch 12's Jerry Howard Zubari got his gun by falsely claiming to own a house where they lived and wrongfully evicting him, but keeping his weapons.
Smith says he rented a room in a house where Zubari lived, then in Vancouver, Washington, until Zubari wrongly evicted him in November 2022, but kept Smith's guns. Smith told NewsWatch 12 that in court Friday was the first time since then he'd seen Zubari. He told the court it was the first time he'd seen his guns since he'd last seen Zubari, guns found in police searches of Zubari's Klamath Falls home. That's where investigators say Zubari took a Seattle woman shackled in handcuffs and leg irons as he used a pistol to impersonate police. Smith also identified a shotgun, an AR-15 style rifle, a competition rifle, and another long gun as his guns, though all were found by police in Zubari's possession. They searched the house he rented in Klamath Falls and a travel trailer in their investigation of the woman's report of kidnapping and sexual assault by Zubari, saying he put her in this cinder block cell in his garage July 2023. She said, though she did not think he was a real police officer, she knew the gun was real. The case investigation started when the woman broke out of the concrete block cell with her bare hands the day she says Zubari put her in there to escape 1336 North El Dorado Drive, taking the pistol she said he used to kidnap her. Jerry Howard, NewsWatch 12.
Right now, we are taking a look out at an intersection of Garfield and Oregon 99, where we first told you about a road closure after a crash. We broke this news on NewsWatch 12 at 4 and have been tracking the latest details. The Oregon Department of Transportation saying to expect congestion in that area, including Interstate 5 and Exit 27. And take a look at this video taken by Brian Gailey last night. A solar storm triggered a magnetic disturbance, resulting in this vivid display of the Aurora Borealis. This shot is from along the shores of Upper Klamath Lake into Klamath Falls. Beautiful shots, and a lot of you sent in photos, and we're so grateful for that. Our Stormwatch 12 weather team tracking clouds that could obscure any shots of the northern lights for us tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman joining us live from Ashland for Friday Night Blitz. Matt, are these clouds expected to stay overnight?
Yeah, Haley, these clouds are going to be here to stay as a storm system approaches, but thanks to everyone who did send in those photos from last night. What a display. I'm going to share some of my favorites tonight at 11, so be sure to tune in for that. Our Friday Night Blitz game of the week here in Ashland, the Grizzlies taking on the Marshfield Pirates, and it definitely feels like football weather. Let's take a look at current conditions right now with the clouds. Temperatures are a little bit cooler. It was actually fairly seasonal today in the Rogue Valley with a high in Medford right at 74 degrees, which is pretty close to our average. We will be seeing cloudy skies through the evening. Notice as we take a look at the satellite and radar imagery, just a lot of clouds but no rain. All the shower activity is still offshore. So for this evening, the forecast for the game here between the Grizzlies and the Pirates, right around 70 at kickoff. Probably more likely we'll be dipping into the upper 60s here pretty quick. Skies will stay mostly cloudy. Tomorrow we'll get some shower activity to push in tonight, and some of that will continue into tomorrow. Some breaks of sunshine developing in the afternoon with a few lingering showers, and temperatures will stay on the cooler, more seasonal side tomorrow, up to 76 degrees in Medford, 65 in Klamath Falls. We'll talk rainfall amounts from this storm system and details on some much bigger changes we're watching in our weather for next week. That's all coming up in just a bit. Haley, back to you.
Matt, thank you. Unfortunately, with the expected cloudy skies tonight, you'll likely not be able to see much of the northern lights tonight. However, when it clears up, there is a chance to see them again. Stormwatch 12 meteorologist Sarah Kress has an explainer to help understand what causes these dancing lights.
The past few nights, we've had a chance to see some of the northern lights, or as they're called, Aurora Borealis. Now, many of us are wondering, how do they form and why can we see them? Well, we need a few things. One of them is Earth's magnetic field, and the other is a solar storm. Yesterday, we saw a solar storm at a level of G4. Now, these are on a scale from G1 to G5, G5 being the most intense. So yesterday's storm was pretty intense. Now, with this storm, it did release plasma out into space, and because of this, release some atoms as well. They make their way into Earth's atmosphere thanks to our magnetic field, and it goes to the weakest point, which is our poles. Now, the stronger the storm, the more particles are released, and the more likely we are to see them down into our region. When they make their way through the atmosphere, they get excited when they get warmed up. So we are able to see the particles in a few different colors. Now, depending on which type of particle they are, or atom, they light up a different color. So yesterday, many of us were sending in pictures of pink aurora, so we were able to see those nitrogen molecules light up below the level about 100 kilometers. Now, we'll continue to track when we'll be able to see these auroras coming up into our forecast, so stay tuned for our future casts.
And you can always send the photos that you have maybe from last night to our KDRV.com. And a Southern Oregon native who's moved to St. Petersburg, Florida, sharing his experience with us after Hurricane Milton. These are photos sent to us by Matt Rowland, who evacuated to Jacksonville, Florida to safety. These photos are being sent to him by neighbors and friends of his home. He did describe flooding and destroyed buildings from the hurricane. He is staying in Jacksonville to stay out of the way, and says from what he's seen, it is a tough site to come back to.
Traffic is just horrid with all the people trying to get back. And then kind of what we've heard, that once you do get back, it's like a bomb just went off. So half the streets you can't even go down because there's so much debris.
Roland does say that his home made it through the storm and it's still standing. He says that he'll return when the power and water turn back on. He also says that the Florida governor gave an estimate of that taking between 3 days and 2 weeks. And U.S. Fish and Wildlife looking at potential endangered species protected for the Crater Lake newt. This is very cool. The only newt species that can be found in Crater Lake. The newt is found only within the park in Klamath County. The Crater Lake newt is a distinct darker colored species of the rough-skinned newt. A legal petition to classify the newt as an endangered species came from the Center for Biological Diversity. Threats in the petition will be fully evaluated in the 12-month finding. A new community for homeless seniors opens next month, offering safe housing and a supportive environment. NewsWatch 12's Samantha Gadara learned how Joy Community is helping seniors get back on their feet. Take a look.
The most exciting about this is, in my heart and mind, I see this as a really, really fabulous way to take care of the elderly who are homeless.
I was lucky enough to see the model home, and you can really feel the excitement Fern has for her very own space.
I just love this. It is so cool. Just love this. I just love this space.
These homes, while small, are cozy and equipped with all the essentials. As Fern shared her story, it was clear how much this community means to her and others like her.
This is the last piece of the housing crisis. I mean, once you get senior, there is no more. So they need to be in a spot where they're safe. By the year 2030, which is only 6 years away, it'll triple in homeless seniors.
Right now, workers and volunteers are preparing the grounds and setting up utilities. They aim to have at least 50 homes in the future, with hopes of expanding even further.
It's just so perfect. You've got all kinds of space on either side of your sink. You've got cabinets and stuff up here. You've got a refrigerator. You got your own little microwave, and you can make coffee.
And the American Cornhole Organization's Medford Major underway right now. NewsWatch 12 spoke with Travel Medford's Director of Sports, Darren Van Leen, who is excited for the Rogue Valley to experience this event. He says that the cornhole competitors love to see others succeed, bringing in a fun environment for the weekend. You may have watched Stormwatch 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman yesterday at this event. And once we get deeper into the tournament, that's when you really start to see the competitors with ice in their veins. The intensity ramps up and they keep making shot after shot. And we're now at the end of week 2 of the 34th annual Coats for Kids campaign. We've already seen so many donations coming in, and we really have to thank you for that. And for our partners at Fred Meyer in Klamath Falls, they tell us that their barrels have been overflowing with your support. If you have a new or gently used children's coat that you'd like to give, drop it off at one of our more than 50 donation barrels in Jackson, Josephine, and Klamath counties. If you're wondering where the closest barrel is to you, head to our website, kdrv.com. We have a full list of all the locations. You can also donate through a check online. We are accepting checks sent to KDRV at our street address. You can see the address here at kdrv.com. We do want to thank all of our viewers for all the support that you've given us so far for the past 3 decades now. On to your voice, your vote coverage. The last day to register to vote in Oregon is coming up next week. Oregonians' last day to register is Tuesday, October 15th. For Californians, the final day to register is October 21st.